to the Prophecy Club. I'm going to do another one of those programs where I kind of talk from the heart. I'm going to answer several questions. This program, let me back up. Kind of the way the programs come to me most of the time is not by my head. It's not about news. It's not about the things that are happening in the world. What it is about the things that God is speaking to my heart to try to warn His people so that His people can be prepared to do the things, the soul winning, to walk in the sevenfold miracles that He's called them to do. So I'm always, how do I say this? I'm always listening to my heart. I didn't say my head. I didn't say reading or researching. Most of the programs, there are a few, but most of the programs do not come from my eyes, the things that I see, nor from my ears, the things that I hear. Most of the programs come from my heart. And it's so hard to explain. It's not like the memory part of our heart. It's more like from the spiritual part of my heart. And I was just praying, kind of seeking. I would say it this way. I've been listening to my heart all morning long. I had a couple of things laid on my heart to talk about, but where it's finally wound up is this. So I got 3 phone calls in a row, but they weren't 7 digits. They weren't 9 digits. They were 10-digit numbers. So I thought, what is this? So to avoid the robocalls, I will typically, because I don't have anyone answering my phone for me, I have to answer it. So I get a lot of robocalls, and I'll just answer it and say nothing. And if it's just a robot, then nothing's said. I don't say anything, so I just hang up. Well, I got 3 10-digit phone numbers in a row. Finally, I thought, well, this is not a robot calling back the second time, especially the third time. So I said hello, and it was Gloria, one of our congregation members, calling from Tanzania. Tanzania? Yeah, well, I went off to a vacation there. And she listens to the program every day. So she says, should I come home? Because they went off on a vacation, but it was kind of a vacation / getaway because the suitcase nukes might be going off and things like that. And in the process of answering her, I think I answered a lot of questions that probably you folks would like to have my opinion on too. First of all, she said, should I come home? And I said, well, it appears to me that all these Coverstone dreams have all been softened and delayed up to this point. Now, December 15th is about to arrive, and of course, the Electoral College is supposed to be voting on the 14th, so that could present Trump as the president on the 15th, and all of a sudden, the trouble could start on the 15th. So said HalTurnerRadioShow.com also, where he's talking about the military is expecting trouble to start on the 15th. Now, if I'm recording this, this is 1:14 in the afternoon of 12/10 of 2020. Others think that it may come after the Supreme Court rules on the Texas suit. Of course, as you know, Texas filed a lawsuit against the 4 states that have cheated, and now there are 20 other states that joined them. So I guess there's 21 some odd states that have gone into this lawsuit, and this suit doesn't go to the lower courts so that the lower corrupt judges can toss it out. This one is between the states, and it only goes to the Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court does what I think they're going to do, and that's probably going to be, well, then you just got to throw out all of the votes from those other 4 states, either that or just redo the whole election. If they throw out, and I do not know what's going to happen, and I do not have any prophecies that says exactly what's going to happen. But if they throw out the votes of the other 4 states that cheated, then that will give Trump the election. If they go to the Electoral College, then that will give Trump the victory. So either way, here in the next week or 2, for sure by the end of the month, we could very easily see trouble. So she says, should I come home? And I said, well, I don't think I'm really in the position to answer that for you. I said, you got to look at, are you making a living there? Are you living off of your savings here in the U.S.? You got a lot of things to look at. I said, but if you're there trying to avoid the trouble here, that's one thing. On the other hand, you got to ask yourself, if the trouble starts, how long will it be before you could possibly get home? So I don't know, but I'm just telling you this kind of things I see that are coming. I also just talked to Terry Saka. Now, Terry is the guy that owns cornerstoneassetmetals.com. And we're probably going to have him on the radio in the next day or so. And I specifically asked him because he knows about Shane Warren being told that silver is going to skyrocket far more than gold. And, he sells all kinds of precious metals, but his primary big benefit is silver. So I said, well, the big question everybody wants to know is, so what could possibly drive silver through the roof where it would skyrocket far more than gold? And he said, I got the answer. So we will possibly have him on the radio here in the next few days. Also, I think I need to kind of talk about the suitcase nukes. Now, I know that you're praying as I am every day, Lord, do not let the suitcase nukes go off, because if they go off, that means our national electrical grid is going down, and that means probably the world that we live in now is gone, never coming back ever again. So, yes, a tsunami, an earthquake could be a big problem, but in my opinion, the suitcase nukes could be the biggest problem. So we must be praying against those suitcase nukes every day. Lord, don't let the suitcase nukes go off. Cause them to be found, dismantled, and swift, hard justice brought to those people that thought and planned to use them. And of course, if they do go off, then having some kind of an EMP blocking device on your house and your cars would be very, very helpful. By the way, I've found out that the EMP does not fry your cell phone or small things like generators because they just don't have enough wire to collect it. But cars, homes, all computer chips and those would be gone. So you might want to go to empshield.com, and if you put in the promo code PROPHECY, it not only helps your Prophecy Club, but I think it gives you like a $50 discount or something like that. Go check it out, empshield.com. As you also recall, Coverstone was told, prepare for hyperinflation. Well, how many people have we had tell us through the years that there's going to be a big financial crash coming? Well, yeah. We've been told this is coming for a long time. But the question is when. Now, again, I'm not making any kind of financial suggestions or any kind of financial advice. I'm simply saying that I believe that Lord spoke to my heart and basically said that if you don't want to lose it, you better put it in silver. And again, that's what I believe I heard. And so I'm not telling you to do anything. If you don't want to do anything, that's fine. And of course, if you do want to do something, and if you were to do that through cornerstoneassetmetals.com, that would help your Prophecy Club. But I can just tell you, I heard that, and I called the next day. I took a check on the phone, and it cleared the next day, and silver has arrived by now. Not much, but, we kind of rob Peter to pay Paul around here. But that's okay. It's all a test, but we're going to pass the test. Just like you're in tests. We're all in tests, but we're all going to pass those tests, okay? Coverstone also said that there is going to be, we should prepare for hyperinflation. In other words, and many people have said the dollar is going to die, it's going to lose its value and all of that sort of stuff, so be prepared for that. He also saw that businesses would be shuttered, closed, schools with cobwebs. Well, we're pretty much there. A lot of areas of the country, maybe not every place, but a lot of places. He also saw capitals surrounded, state houses, state capitals surrounded, people screaming, making outrageous demands. My guess is that's probably going to start happening as soon as they announce Trump is the great victor. He also saw the Oval Office and the curtains pulled, no one seated at the Resolute desk. That may happen because when Trump is announced to be the winner, the dark side just rises up and just explodes. I mean, they get furious beyond belief. And that's when, in the other one of the visions, the devil sent out people to go to the cities. Go to the cities. He also saw Chinese and Russian soldiers on the ground. That may happen because when Trump is announced to be the great victor, all of a sudden there's so much trouble that not only does Trump have to declare martial law, also he enacts the Insurrection Act, which gives him power and authority over all of the U.S. military, which is my opinion why he's been bringing the military soldiers home from Iraq, Afghanistan, Somalia, and probably other places we haven't heard. And as I talked about in yesterday's program, all of the massive military that's been taking place, and I mean, our military and Russia and China are all preparing for war. I mean, it's not even a drill. They aren't even announcing drills. They are moving in position for war. Coverstone was shown Chinese and Russian soldiers on the ground in America. Russian soldiers telling the Chinese soldiers to go and pick up people here, round up people here, secure this quadrant, secure this area. I want to believe that that's because they came in as a friend to Trump to help him to take order. But that's kind of like the fox guarding the hen house. Oh, yes, I will guard those hens with my life. Don't count on it. So I cannot imagine a good reason why Chinese, Russian, UN soldiers, I cannot imagine a reason why it's a good thing when they're on American soldiers or on American soil. He also saw blue helmets of the UN. He saw military things taking place. If you've listened the last couple of days, I've been reading to you massive military movements. I mean, even over my house, almost every night, I hear at least one helicopter, if not two or three. I saw blue helmets of the UN, military things taking place. I saw no sign of President Trump, no sign of leadership in Washington, D.C., then the vultures. Well, as I just read in the broadcast just yesterday, they're having these crazy vultures in this area in America. I read all about it, so I'll skip it. But the point is, all of it seems to be like right here. I mean, it's right now at the door. Also, when the demons cried out to the people, go to the cities, then they saw pulpits being chopped up. I just got an article sent to me just the other day. An ancient church built back in like the 1600s that has lots of history to it, was burned to the ground. We're probably going to see more of that, but again, we're praying against that. We're praying that none of this comes to pass. Again, that's the whole point of the Coverstone Dreams. It's to get us to pray. If we don't pray, God is saying this is what's coming. If we don't stand in the gap. But if we do stand in the gap, I believe we can stop or soften or delay most of it. I believe we can stop a whole lot of it, and I know we can soften or delay most of it. As a matter of fact, we've already softened and delayed a whole bunch of it. I saw pulpits chopped up with axes. Big, old wooden pulpits being chopped to pieces. I saw plexiglass pulpits being hammered to pieces, Christian in chains. I saw them being publicly ridiculed, publicly assaulted because their ideas were old-fashioned and needed to go. Then he talks about there must be a solemn September assembly. We had one. 450 people fasting 48 hours nonstop. Then we had another one in October. Plus, Coverstone says some 20,000 churches were fasting and praying all across America. So I know that a lot of this is not going to come. I saw pastors in chains. I was shackled myself. I saw people in jury seats, witness stands, crying, judges saying, you no longer can preach this message. So far that hadn't come, but it came because of our fasting and prayers, brothers and sisters. I saw the outline of the nation, smoke rising from several outdoor funeral pyres from all over the country. I saw headlines declaring a sudden increase in nationwide suicide spike, and this came because of the COVID lockdowns. Again, that has not come yet. The COVID lockdowns are bad. We need to pray against them. We need to pray against this. And I want to say something about the virus. My wife and I both had it. We're over it. I don't know. I'm still kind of, how do I say? I'm seeking in my heart how to talk about it. But I'll just say it is absolutely positively political, and I'm still praying about it. I'm kind of seeking my spirit on how to say that. So let's go on. I saw angry people demanding, in other words, it's not as big as they want to. We don't need to be wearing all these masks, all this garbage going on. I'll talk about it. I saw angry people demanding that government fix the problems causing the suicides, namely the financial losses, forced evictions, job loss, depression spikes, drug overdoses, rampant increases in abuse, emotional, sexual, physical, in the light of the continued COVID not lockdowns. The dollar lost its value, burned only about a third of it was less. See, all of this is tied into this financial change. protesters, protesting the death of the dollar. To them, it was a celebration. Others were devastated, totally torn up by the death of the dollar. The value of the American dollar was dying. I heard someone playing taps in the background. I saw puffed up pastors, in other words, the people that were just preaching the prosperity, health, and wealth message, and suddenly their clothes began coming off. A lot of these have not happened, or they haven't happened as bad as Coverstone was shown. That's a good thing. That shows that our prayers are being answered. Again, it can only happen on earth if the church allows it. If we pray against it, whatever we bind in heaven is bound on earth. So whatever we pray for as a nation, as a church, we will get, but we have to pray. Then I saw this billboard saying, Passover 2021. Now, I think that this is probably the best good news of all of it. Passover 2021. I believe, and by the way, that's March 27th, I believe what these next words are actually saying is that God is in control of the storm. The devil wants to believe he is, but he's not. God's in control of the storm, just like Deuteronomy 32 says, I kill, I make alive, I wound, I heal, and neither can any deliver out of my hand. Jesus in Revelation says, I have the keys of hell and death, meaning he decides who goes to heaven, he decides who goes to hell, and when they die, and what kind of death. That's the reason we need not fear death if we are living and working and serving our Lord Jesus. Okay, so anyway, it says, Passover 2021. In my opinion, what this is about to say is that the storm will continue until Passover 2021. So I personally look for this storm to stop somewhere around March 27th, 2021. It says, Passover 2021, big things are coming for the world. Big things are coming for the world. Repeats it twice. Then the white figure appeared again and said, Do not stop bracing, for the storm will not pass until I stop the storm. So, brace yourself and don't look back. Meaning, God is in control of the storm. And it will stop, and it will only stop when he decides that it's going to stop. And I believe he is hinting that it stops on about or around Passover 2021, March 27th. He goes on to say the sky was dull and gray with extreme cloud cover. I saw the finger appear and circle November the 3rd continuously in the clockwise direction, as I've explained, and I still stick with it. I think that's the right interpretation. Clockwise is saying man's way. Suddenly it changed to counterclockwise. If you flush the toilet in the northern hemisphere, it goes counterclockwise. So counterclockwise is God's direction. The clocks move in a clockwise direction. That's man's way. So counterclockwise is God, clockwise is man. Suddenly it changed to a counterclockwise before these images appeared. The direction of the finger is very, very important. I think what happens on November 3rd, it's probably what God is going to count is 400 years of America being a republic, having a constitution, having his hand of protection on America, and it's 40 years from when Dimitru was given the judgment message. And so the Constitution, the Republic, the all-capital United States of America stops on or about or around November 3rd. Specifically, the all-capital corporation called the United States of America not only went bankrupt, but was, I said was, not as going to be, was dissolved December the 5th. I'm not lying. Just do a little search. It's not going to hurt you a bit to find out what I'm saying is true. There is no such thing as an all-corporate capital United States of America anymore. And so when Donald Trump comes out to be the new president, it's not going to be the United States of America. It's going to be called the Republic of the United States. And when the finger changes direction from clockwise to counterclockwise, as was said in another one of the prophecies, then I'm in control, which is not a bad thing. See, because before Saul became a king, God was in control of Israel. What this is doing is it's removing the Constitution, removing our republic, and to a certain degree, removing our freedoms, and putting God in charge of our nation. And because of our freedoms being removed, those freedoms that, yes, sometimes protect the innocent, but probably in America more oftentimes now, they protect the guilty. Like you have the right to remain silent. It used to be that police officers could just go into a house and ransack it, and they would find out what the person did. And the person had no rights, no protection from the police officer. If you did something wrong, it was found out and you were held guilty. It is as simple as that. But sometimes really, really bad people can also be protected by those protections. So removing, I know it sounds crazy, yes, I'm an American, but by removing some of those freedoms will actually give Trump, the good guy, freedom to remove some of the bad guys. Does that make sense? Okay, it's kind of like when we know that someone's done something bad, but we can't put them in prison because of some technicality. Well, when you have certain freedoms removed, I know it doesn't sound right, okay? I understand. I know how this sounds. But with our constitutional freedoms removed, Trump will be able to clean house. And I think that's what he's going to do. And that's what is needed if our nation is to continue. Again, turn from the wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sins and heal their land. That's what we want. Now let's go on to the next part of Coverstone Dream. Another one of them said that she dropped the knife, and I think that's talking about HC. I can't say the name. She dropped the knife and stepped into the trap, and the president ran off quickly. Meaning, I believe that the election, the entire November 3rd election, was a big trap. The evil, the Dems, set a trap. And they were expecting that this would take Donald Trump out of the presidency, but they actually get caught in the trap that they set. In other words, the evil that they did is actually caught them. They got caught in their own trap. Another part of a Coverstone Dream said, I heard a voice say, those who refuse to get ready will be wanting in the end. I mean, how many times does God have to say, I've warned you, I've warned you, I've warned you, I've warned you. Those who refuse to get ready will be wanting in the end. So brace yourself and tell others that I have warned them to brace themselves, for they're about to see even more shocking things. Did you see President Trump speaking on Thanksgiving to our troops? Well, after that, he began just kind of talking from the heart for a moment. Part of what he said is in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see some shocking things. I thought he used the same word from the Coverstone Dreams. Shocking things. We're all about to see some shocking things, probably by the end of this month, possibly by December 15th. Let's see what happens. Watch this whole Supreme Court thing. Watch this election. This election is going to be the start of the internal revolution and the beginning of the fall of America. But again, the fall of the all-capital of America, the fall of the Constitution, fall of the Republic, fall of our freedoms is not necessarily a bad thing. The bad people have been hiding behind those freedoms, those protections for many years, and you can't touch them because we have rights. Well, when all of those rights are removed, you see, martial law removes them. The Insurrection Act gives Trump the authority to use the entire military might to clean up. If our nation is to continue, we must turn from our wicked ways. Well, right now we have too many freedoms. We have too many rights protecting the one that might possibly be innocent. So our rights, I know, I understand. I hear you saying, Stan, are you listening to what you're saying? Yes, I am. But are you hearing what I'm saying? Those wonderful rights that we have cherished have been used against us by the bad people for many years now so that they can get off scot-free, so that they can do what they want, so they can harm us, so they can, just like abortion, okay? What's legal? Does that make it right? Nope. Matter of fact, there's a whole lot of that that's legal, but it's not right. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of those, quote, rights that are allowing wrongs. Stan, are you listening to what you're saying? Let me say it again. A lot of those rights are allowing wrongs. Yes, I understand what I'm saying. And it's like, I need to play this back and say, you better listen to this again, boy. You can put this out for everybody to hear. But now listen, those rights are causing people to do wrong, or allowing them to do wrong, and allowing them to get by with doing wrong. So by the removal of those rights can allow our nation to heal. Does that make sense? I believe it does. Now, here's the point of the whole thing. We must not stop. We have to hold the fort. We have to toe the line. We have to fight, fight, fight. This is the time to engage. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but we fight against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness and evil in high places. And we fight with the weapons of our warfare, mighty through God, the pulling down of strongholds. We fight through prayer. So, brothers and sisters, these days we must fight, fight, fight in prayer. If your heart is with us, I'm asking you to become a member. Actually state before God that you are with our vision to win thousands upon thousands of souls, to teach prophecy and walk in sevenfold miracles, to be a blessing and give answers in the time of trouble. If this is your heart, go to prophecyclub.com and click on membership. Only takes 90 seconds. This will help us to get a loan for an office and a church to do the work of the ministry. prophecyclub.com. Emergency food is almost sold out everywhere. However, because of our relationship with heavensharvest.com, they have made an entire truckload available to Prophecy Club in a few weeks, where others are totally out or waiting for months. They have all sorts of emergency supplies and food at heavensharvest.com. Their food comes in square stackable buckets, breakfast, entree, protein, fruits and vegetables. heavensharvest.com makes it easy to order. I recommend you have at least 12 months of food for each person in your family. Receive a free box of heirloom seeds when you enter the promo code STAN. That's heavensharvest.com, promo code STAN. heavensharvest.com, promo code STAN. When a nuclear device goes off, it produces an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, and it fries every computer chip unless they're protected. The good news is EMPshield.com has devices a military testing facility says are 100% accurate to protect against EMP, solar flares, lightning, power surges backed by a 10-year warranty and a $25,000 insurance policy. And they come with simple installation instructions for home, vehicles, RV, and electric generators. You can have electricity in a blackout. EMPshield.com. Use the promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. This helps Prophecy Club. That's EMPshield.com. Promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. EMPshield.com. EMPshield.com. In 2017, I memorized the book of Revelation. I was shown a secret door linking the feasts to the prophecies of Revelation. For the first time, the book of Revelation can be put in correct chronological order. You can understand Bible prophecy. We offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 5. 1 for 20, but don't do that. 5 for 35 or 10 for 60. What is the most important information to every beating heart on the globe? After accept Jesus, it would be, don't take the mark of the beast. Those taking the mark of the beast do not get soul death, but are tormented in the lake of fire and brimstone for eternity. How do you tell them? Give them miss the mark. We offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 10. 1 for 20, 10 for 30, and 20 for 50 at prophecyclub.com. Over the past 32 years, I've collected the best 101 prophecies from Dimitru, Michael Boldea, Leslie Johnson, Henry Gruber, Shane Warren, Terry Bennett, Maria Sklar, Augusto Perez, Doug Metzger, and more. It's called God's Warnings for America. We offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 5. 1 for 20, but don't do that. 5 for 35 or 10 for 60. My new book is called Tribulation Secrets in Daniel because that's what it does. It shows you the part of Daniel you need to know, being you're about to be a tribulation saint and will desperately need to know and understand about the last days you live in. We offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 10. 1 for 20, 10 for 30, and 20 for 50 at prophecyclub.com.